Senate race in the battleground state of Tennessee. Democrat Harold Ford and Republican Bob Corker locked in a dead heat at 48% each in a campaign that explodes into the headlines with an anti-Ford ad that some have called racist. The Ford camp responded with a spot that some might say makes the candidate look more like a conservative than a typical Democrat. Take a look at this.
I started church the old-fashioned way. I was forced to, and I'm better for it. I'm Harold Ford Jr., and here I learned the difference between right and wrong. And now Mr. Corker's doing wrong.
Joining me now from Union City, Tennessee, Congressman Harold Ford Jr. Congressman, thanks a lot for joining us.
Thanks for having me. I'm delighted to be here with my colleague John Tanner, who represents this district, and my colleague Lincoln Davis, who a little bit away from us here in West Tennessee. He's the chair of our campaign, and we got a bunch of folks here in O'Brien County. Happy to be on with you, Tucker Carlson. One of my friends wanted to know, we can't see you. Are you wearing a bow tie?
I'm not wearing a bow tie.
He's not wearing a bow. He's not wearing a bow tie. But
I want to ask you, Congressman, about the ad that we just put up. If a Republican had run that ad, shot literally inside a church, inside a holy place, he would have been attacked, including by me, as leveraging religion for political gain, for implying that God was on his side. Isn't that what you're doing?
I'm Harold Ford Jr. Oh, no, sir. You probably are aware that we've been under siege here in Tennessee from the National Republican Committee, from my opponent with negative ads. Shortly after Labor Day, I was attacked and lied on about gay marriage, about immigration, and even wanting to release felons from jail. So we went up with a new ad, and I could only think of one place to go to really soundly and fully address the issues, the place that I learned the difference between right and wrong, which is my church. So I didn't think much of it, and I know it created some hubbub, but that's where I learned not only the difference between right and wrong. I was forced to go there as a child, and it made me a much better person in the long run. And
well,
I think politics
I believe
today,
that, and I'm all for. Okay, but Congressman, I want to quote something that you said, and look, I'm all for forcing kids to go to church. But for political ends, I guess is the point here. Here's something you said that you were quoting a friend of yours, and you said this, quote, "Republicans fear the Lord, Democrats fear and love the Lord." That seems a pretty clear statement that Republicans don't love the Lord, and again, it's exactly the kind of thing that if a Democrat were to say it, I would leap on it.
By no means, and if anybody took it. Oh, absolutely. I think we all should battle to see who loves the Lord the most, and maybe better public policy. If we all truly loved him, maybe we would treat poor people and working people better in this country. If we really loved him, and feared him, we would treat our veterans better than we're treating them today, and we would treat working moms better. So by no means, if any Republican took offense to that, or any Democrat, that was not my intent at all. The real intent is to find out how we can take our faith and infuse it more into how we conduct and shape public policy, be it national security, energy security, environmental protection, creating jobs in rural communities like this, and taking care of those who, frankly, gave of themselves and their families to defend our country. So if anybody took offense, by no means.
Congressman, if you're running explicitly as a Christian candidate, and it sounds like you are, name one thing specifically you would do to reduce abortion in this country legislatively. What restriction could you get behind as a member of the U.S. Senate to reduce abortion or access to it?
Well, abortion is just one part of when you talk about the moral needs.
Okay, well, let's just talk about that one part.
I'm glad to be with my friend Lincoln Davis, whose bill I support, which would introduce abstinence programs into our schools, introduce character education programs, increase the adoption tax credit in this country, and find ways in which we can teach people better the difference between right and wrong. You know, a lot of times when people talk about abortion, they make it a partisan issue. You got to remember, the majority of people who decided the Roe v. Wade decision in the minds of some the wrong way by allowing abortion, they were appointed by Republicans. 5 of the justices were Republican appointees. As a matter of fact, 17 of the 23 recent...
Okay,
I'm sorry.
The parties do have... They have starkly different opinions on the subject, of course. I just want to ask you about the ad.
I'm pro-life, though. I'm pro-life, Tucker. So I mean, I don't run from that.
In what sense is that? If you say you're a pro-life candidate, how would you restrict abortion? How would you use your vote in the Senate to restrict abortion, not to promote abstinence, but to restrict the availability of abortion in this country? If you are a pro-life candidate, you say.
We're going to teach people the difference between right and wrong. And I say to all of those who believe there's such differences between the parties on this issue, if Republicans believe so firmly in outlawing abortion, Tucker, how come your party hadn't offered a legislation in the Congress or the Senate to outlaw abortions? We could have done this.
Well, first of all, wait. First of all, it's not my party, and the answer is they don't believe their own rhetoric. That's the answer, as you well know. But I'm talking to you, not them.
So
now, you mentioned a second ago.
It's time to pass better public policy, which is what I think should be the focus of the Senate and the Congress.
All right. You said a minute ago that you've been attacked, and you have been attacked. In fact, I've defended you against some of the ads I think that are unfair that have been run against you. One in particular, though, the one that makes reference to the Playboy party you went to at the Super Bowl, has, as you know, of course, this woman, a blonde woman, winking into the camera and saying, "Harold called me." That ad was denounced by the NAACP as akin to Klan propaganda, KKK propaganda. Many have called it racist. The implication is that racist voters in Tennessee will be offended by the idea of a black candidate and a white woman in some way linked. Are there a lot of racist voters in Tennessee, do you think?
No. I didn't see race as a part of that ad. That ad is in the past. And I think what most people...
You did not see race as part of that ad?
I did not. I think there was a lot of slime and smut in the ad. And I think the fact that it aired during family programming time here in Tennessee was just a bad, inappropriate, and awful thing. The reality is, I think the National Republican Party has underestimated the goodness and decency of us here in Tennessee. People here love good ideas. They want answers, and they want a better, stronger America.
That's interesting. Harold Ford, you did a sleazy ad, but not a racist. I agree with you, actually. I thought it was a sleazy. I appreciate your coming on. Harold Ford,
thanks for having me. And Tucker, thank you for standing up for us, man. I appreciate that.
I don't know if I'm standing up for you, but I don't care who you date, and I don't like attacks that go after you on those grounds. So thanks a lot.
Let me be clear. With all these allegations in Washington, I do like football and I do like girls. So I want to be clear about that.
That's a spirit. So do I. Nothing wrong with that. Thanks a lot. Thanks. Coming up, Republican Michael Steele fights for his political life here in the state of Maryland. And who's Bill Clinton?